are certain situations you could make it work. Sometimes when you're teaching, the problem is if you're demonstrating something and you're playing it and you want the students to play along with you, when you're doing that you can't talk at the same time and guide them through. The only thing you can do is maybe make movements or tap your feet or or emphasize things like that by movement. So I could see where it would be quite useful to develop a system where you could talk the student through, and at the same time they could be playing along with you, and you could say, right, slow down, or emphasize a particular note, or speed up, or whatever, or listen for the sound of the movement, that kind of thing. So you could use it in that context. I think you need to work at doing that, because it's a completely different skill. I think you're so used to playing and listening, whereas you could be actually playing and talking. So that would be a different skill, but it would be useful, I think, And also the continuity in that situation. You could keep playing. You don't have to have a breath, and so the tune that you're demonstrating just keeps going right to the end without stopping for breath.
And the other case, if one of your students came and told you that he himself is a redpipe for practicing at home, maybe, in addition to his
yes.
acoustic bagpipe, would you have a problem with that as his teacher, or would you find this more an addition that is helpful?
I don't have a problem with that at all, because at the end of the day, if someone's practicing, it adds to the practice time and development of the skill. So I don't think that would be a bad thing at all. Because physically you can only play it for so long. It's quite a physical instrument, the bagpipe. So if you practice for an hour on your pipes, you're probably pretty tired at the end of that. Whereas if you want to do a bit more extra practice and really on the practice chanter, or on this, it would be great. So this is easier because, again, you don't have the physical aspect, so you could play for longer.
And you also, in comparison to a practice chanter, you have also some interaction with the bag.
Yes.
To do this might also be helpful.
I think so, because it keeps the strength in the arm, because you have to have that pressure all the time. Remember to hold the first beat. And you can be doing that much more. You can't do that when you're blowing the chanter. So that would be the idea, and then you could say, right, okay, and you say, hold the first beat. That's it. And you could say, you could be saying, okay, that's good, now faster. You could do, and you could say, right, remember exactly on the beat and that kind of thing. So you could just keep going, So that's a skill you have to develop, so you can talk and play at the same time.
You could even use the metronome inside.
Exactly, yeah.
And keep the beat.
Exactly, because usually it's like. So yeah, so you could build that into the routine, and you can say, right, we're going to do it at 50 beats per minute. Now we're going to do it at 55. Now we're going to do it at 60, and just work up, because that's what you have to do when people learn new tunes. They have to play them much slower, because two things: they need to get the melody in their head, they need to sight read, and then they need to get the embellishments correct. So they have to do that. They have to do it much slower than normal speed. So if I was doing that tune, I would be. Right, faster. Faster again. And again faster. That's it. And that's the speed. So that's the kind of things you can do when you're still playing and you've got them playing and you're saying to them, instead of having to stop and say, no, stop, we need to play that faster, you can just say to them, and the continuity's there, you know. Okay, I've got something. So,
it would be great